Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. We are continuing on with coverage from NRL22 2024 Nationals. In the last video, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it somewhere up here. We went through the first 6 stages that I shot, which were stages 11 through 16. So we're going to pick up where we left off, starting with stage 17. So stay tuned. So, stage 17 was probably my worst stage of the match. I think this stage gave a lot of people trouble. We have this prop here. There's basically 11 portholes, but there's 2 walls on the sides that really make things pretty constricted. So, the middle 3 positions, pretty straightforward. The right 3 positions, you can kind of try and brace up against the right side. It was a little difficult to manipulate the bolt, so you kind of had to blade your hand or push with your thumb on the bolt shroud to try and get it to close. You couldn't really get a full normal grip on the bolt handle on the right side. And the left side was intended, there was nothing in the stage description that said you had to shoot support side, but basically if you're a right-handed shooter using those left port windows, you basically had to shoot support side. I tried to game the stage, and what I did is I took my rail changer, put it on my arc rail as far forward as I could, and I was actually able to shoot strong side because I had enough length to actually get there. All of that didn't really help me on this stage. The wind was picking up by this point in the day, about halfway through the day, and there were 2 target sizes. You had to pick which one. One was worth 10 points. The other one was worth 7 points. So you had to confirm which one you were going for. I thought with the wind, I was like, okay, I should be able to hit the large target for 7 points. It was about 1 mil wide versus about 6/10 wide. So the stage description was, upon the engage command, basically 1 shot from each of the portholes for a total of 10 shots. There were 11 available. You had to pick 10. And yeah, did not really go to plan.
Stand by. Engage.
Stage 18 was a classic tank trap stage. The stage description was, on the engage command, build a position onto the rear tank trap tip, engage targets R1, R2 with 1 round each, move counterclockwise to the next tank trap tip and engage 3 and 4 with 1 round each, move to the third tip, engage 1 and 2, move to the center, engage 3 and 4, move to the right leg, engage 3, and then move to the left leg and engage 4. So, standard tank trap barricade prop that we're all used to, but they were dictating the firing order. The targets were all at 116 yards, and it was basically like a KYL rack. There was a big circle target and 3 smaller rectangular targets. So it was kind of a modified KYL, kind of dictating the order of the tank trap. People had difficulty on the legs. Having a sticky game changer really helped on that. But again, wind was doing weird things. wasn't as stable as I wanted to be, which is surprising because it's a pretty normal prop being the tank trap, and ended up with a 6 out of 10 on this one.
Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Engage.
All right, time to turn this match around. Stage 19 was on a boat. The stage description was as follows. Upon the engage command, build a position anywhere in the boat and engage target 1 with 2 rounds, 2 with 2 rounds, and 3 with 1 round. Next, perform a mandatory mag change, and then engage targets 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, again with 1 round each. This was probably the stage where I saw the most variation in strategy between competitors. So I elected to go with a bipod and my big pump pillow sitting in the boat using the bipod off the front. I saw a lot of people put bags on the front of the boat and use that kind of in a kneeling position with some rear support possibly. And a lot of people I saw actually clip into tripods, which I thought was interesting because I have the actual match book right here. And if we turn to the third page, equipment restrictions, it says right here, tripods and support bags may be used for rear support. Doesn't say anything about clipping into a tripod. You're breaking the rules. No, I'm just kidding, of course. It was cleared with the ROs and the match director that you could use a tripod, place the tripod in the boat, and clip into it. And I think that was actually kind of their intent for people to do. I didn't have my good tripod with me. I have a really crappy travel tripod just to hold my binoculars and laser rangefinder and all that, and wind flag and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't have my good tripod that was quick release and all that kind of stuff. So I figured I wasn't going to bother with it. I was just going to go bipod and big pump pillow for rear support, and it worked out.
Shooter ready? Ready. Stand by. Engage.
About damn time I cleaned a stage.
Good breath, too.
Stage 20 was your not so classic pyramid stage. So the typical NRL22 pyramid has straight boards across. This one had staggered boards, which was kind of interesting, made for some interesting positional decisions. But it was good because it accommodated various shooters of various heights. So I actually like the way this pyramid is set up better than the normal pyramid. So if there's ever a revision to the NRL standard barricade list, this might be an interesting way to do the pyramid in future years. But the course description was on the engage command, build a standing position at any rung of the pyramid, engage targets 1, then 2, then a kneeling position, repeat the target engagement, and alternate between standing and kneeling, choosing a unique position on the barricade each time until all 10 rounds have been fired. So 5 different positions, alternate between standing, kneeling, standing, kneeling, standing, and then near to far, target 1, target 2. The targets were at 75 and 100 yards. And so you kind of had to just, if you've been shooting NRL 22, monthly courses of fire. In fact, the previous course of fire, the June course of fire, right before this match, if you shot one of the early June matches, there was a standing, kneeling, standing stage in the course of fire. So it was a lot like that. It was just instead of 3 positions, it was 5. So you had to just kind of pick what made sense for you standing wise and what made sense for kneeling, and you couldn't repeat any positions. So pretty straightforward stage, something that you might see on a monthly course of fire. So let's see how it went.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Engage. That would make sense.
All right, so we've got some momentum. We've got a clean stage and a 9 out of 10 another stage, and then we come to stage 21, which is going to be an unsupported stage, at least part of it anyway. We have this cow here, which is a 55-gallon barrel turned on its side, and you have to love the attention to detail because if you look closely, the udders that's a support bag. It's made by Bison Tactical. It's called the Tactical Udder. So, I mean, just little details throughout the match, just awesome attention to detail. It just shows the caliber of the match that this was. Hats off to the match directors and ROs and everyone who helped with this because it's little things like that, hilarious. So we've got that, and we've got a milk can, and the course description is as follows. On the engage command, build a position on the cow, engage target 1 with 2 shots. Move to the milk can, engage target 3 with 2 shots. Next, assume an unsupported kneeling or sitting position, target 2 with 2 shots, and then a prone position, target 2, 2 shots, then 1, then 3. So targets here were, target 1 and target 2 were both at 87 yards. Target 2 was really big. And then target 3 was at 104 yards. So elected to dial for the targets and, didn't have my sling. Would have helped maybe a little bit, but only ended up being able to hit 1 out of the unsupported shots. So definitely need to practice that more because it doesn't come up often, but when it does, it's a good way to lose or gain a lot of points. So let's see how it went.
Stand by. Engage.
Last stage of day one for squad 11 was these posts. So there was these posts out of the ground, but they were like 15 yards apart, each of them, 10 to 15 yards apart. So you're moving on this stage. And the course description was as follows. On the engage command, build a position. On the first post, engage target 1 with 2 rounds. Go to the second post, engage target 2 with 2 rounds, then 3 with 2 rounds. So you get a little bit of a breather. You get to shoot 4 from that post. Run to the next post, back to target 2 with 2 rounds, and then the final post, back to target 1 with 2 rounds. What was really nice in the match book was that they actually gave you the distances from each post, because as you can imagine, as you're traversing, 10, 20, 30 yards, the target distances are going to change. So they actually gave you the targets as well as their distances from the post as they were, laser range find from the post. So, small attention to detail. And if they didn't do that, I think a lot of people would miss a bunch from the third and fourth post, not realizing that their targets are actually a couple yards farther than they were beforehand. But this is a really fun stage, great way to end the day. I'm glad I didn't do this earlier in the day because, you expend a lot of energy on the stage. So it's a good way to finish. The rain was starting to come in a little bit. So let's see if we can end the day on a high note.
Ready. Stand by. Engage.
Really?
Oh. Got you for 9.
So that wraps up day one of NRL22 Nationals. Now, if you were watching the trigger cam footage and noticed me kind of holding close to center on some of the last stages, there was wind, and I actually had to dial in anywhere between 2 and 4 tenths left. So there was a prevailing left to right wind, so I actually dialed in wind and, at the lower end of my bracket, and then if I missed, I would try to make corrections off of that. But because there was a prevailing wind, I thought it was easier in my brain just be able to, instead of trying to make ridiculous wind calls, off of the target, dial in a little bit of wind that is kind of like the calm, and then the gust would go up to 7 tenths sometimes, so that you see me holding over. So if I'm holding center on the last few stages of this day, just know that I have wind dialed into the scope. It was a really fun day, long day, 12 stages, and if you think about it, these matches, especially these 2-day matches, if you're ever competing in a large match like this, endurance becomes a factor. So think about your monthly course of fire for NRL22. It's 5 stages mandated by the NRL22, as well as any bonus stages that your club puts on. In my experience, has been maybe 1 to 3 bonus stages, so 8 stages. Here we did 12 stages, so it's either double or 1.5 times sort of a normal monthly match, and then you're doing that roughly 2 days in a row. So when it comes to endurance, you really have to keep mentally focused, and I didn't have the best day one. I think I ended up like 94th in the standings overall for that day. Now, everyone's on different squads and different rotations, so some stages may be easier than others, but a lot of people also mess up day two because they don't realize how much energy they're expending, and they may not get a good night's sleep between day one and day two and that kind of stuff. So you have to really be mentally focused and be prepared to get up in the morning and do the same thing over again. So I think a lot of people, when they compete in these bigger matches, they're not ready for that 2-day experience, or even kind of doing a back-to-back monthly match in one day. So just be prepared for that mentally if you ever attend these matches, and I will see you next time for coverage from day 2, and where I hope to pick up some more points, because dropped a whole lot on day 1. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you like this coverage of NRL22 Nationals. We'll have 2 more videos covering day 2 coming up shortly, and until I see you next time, as always, score more points.